we've got Central Catholic on top of the league with a 3-0 record, and they also have a 3-0 season record. And then comes Gresham with 2-0 and 3-0 for the season. Of course, they had the big win last week over Oregon City, number 2 ranked in the state. And then next is Barlow at 2-1 and Columbia at 2-1. Both teams tied with a 2-1 record. Of course, Columbia last week were victorious over the Barlow Bruins. So if it came down to a tiebreaker at the end of the season, Centennial or Columbia would get the nod because they beat them in their confrontation. So there we see the Eagles coming back on the field, and obviously they're pumped up and excited, and they realize that this game's still within reach. Going on down the standings, though, we have David Douglas next at 1-1 in league and 1-2 overall. Parkrose and Reynolds both at 1-2, and then Centennial and Sandy. Centennial is 0-2 in league and 0-3 overall, and Sandy is 0-3 in league and 0-3 overall. So, you know, it really is kind of starting to shape up just as the coaches kind of anticipated throughout the league, and that is the top 3 teams, Central Catholic, Gresham, Barlow, were expected to really battle it out, although Columbia now has shown that they're right in the thick of things as well. The team that I think that you have to be watchful of, and that is David Douglas, because they were such a young team, lost so many people from last year, and by the end of the season, they should really be a tough team. And it'll be a real interesting game the last week of the season. Columbia plays David Douglas, so that should be, in all likelihood, a playoff spot position at stake there, so that should be a great ball game towards the end of the season. But as we see the teams get ready back on the field and the flip of the coin take place, I think that you know, this second half, really, it's going to be key. The first series is going to really probably tell the difference. Centennial has had a good first half against a couple teams. Against Barlow, they had a good first half. Obviously, they've had a good first half here against Gresham. The thing that they have to guard against is the letdown that they've had in both of those games, or in against Central Catholic and against Barlow in the second half. They played tough the first half, came out the second half, and those teams just were able to, in the second half, Central Catholic was just able to dominate them. Barlow, on the other hand, now when they came out against Barlow, they actually outplayed Barlow in the second half 6-0 and really held Barlow at bay. So, you know, Centennial's kind of an enigma. You never know quite how they are going to react to the situation. I'm sure Coach Knutson hoping that they have brought their spirited face tonight and are going to give Gresham a run for their money now.
Well, this game is far from over, and we expect to see a pretty good second half. As you can see, Centennial's just about getting ready here, and Gresham's out on the field.
Well, Gresham, I'm sure, wants to come out here, and in this very first series, they're going to receive, and in the very first series that they get the ball, they're going to want to reestablish the running game. I think they might have gotten a little bit overconfidence there towards the end, Eric, when they started trying to throw the ball a little bit. And that deviates a little bit from the type of offense that they were so successful with earlier in the ballgame. Their first 2 possessions, they marched right down the field and scored both times, and then after that, they tried to mix it up a little bit, and I'm not sure that they're ready to do that type of thing. They've got to try it, obviously, but to commit to the long pass the way that they did so much in the second quarter, I think is probably gotten them out of their game plan just a little bit.
Ramon Diaz and Eric Nielsen deep for Gresham. And we're getting set for the kickoff. And we are underway, second half action. And Diaz with the ball, he'll get knocked down to about the 30-yard line. And Centennial coming out fired up with a good tackle there, dropped them back to about the 28-yard line.
That was Cecil Dela Cruz again. He is in on everything. Boy, I tell you, he is a spirited little player that gets out there and just gives it his all, and he's really to be commended for his effort and the type of effort that he gives and the leadership that he gives to the Centennial Eagles.
Well, the Gresham offensive unit back on the field here. Ball on the 31-yard line. And it's Fellows again in the quarterback. They try to go up the middle with it, not much. 3 or 4 yards.
Well, Centennial really, with that time, really pinching in. I don't know whether they were able to tell what the play was going to be or what, but they really were pinching in that time when Sandstrom tried to run the ball up the middle. So, you know, you have to kind of watch, too, see what the defense is going to do. Are they going to try to pinch and stop the inside, or are they going to try to stop the outside stuff? It looks like right now, on that play anyway, they were pinching inside, trying to stop anything inside.
Sandstrom with 4 yards on the carry, second down and 6. And Fellows looking around, barking out signals. Again, hands it out to Sandstrom, who breaks the tackle. and gets the first down.
That time they went to more of an off-tackle power type of a play to the right side, and boy, they opened up a really nice seam. And Sandstrom does an excellent job of just waiting in behind his blockers. He's not the type of kid that looks like he's going to go out and just burn speed and outrun people, but he definitely does a good job of just hanging in behind the blockers, and then when he sees the seam, spurting up for an extra 4 or 5 yards each time.
First down and 10. Ball at the 44-yard line for Gresham.
This is their wishbone set, 2 tight ends.
And this time it's handed off to number 33, that's Radke. And he gets up past midfield down to about the 46-yard line. Let's see where they spot it, 47-yard line or so.
And that looked like, I think if you watch here, it's the up back, it's a fullback, and that's 32, Lofton. Lofton gets that ball, and as he comes here, we see Sandstrom lead up in there, and Lofton just follows him. That time Sandstrom actually got there quicker than Lofton, and Sandstrom led him up through the hole, and he just followed Sandstrom for pretty close to almost 10 yards. They're going to measure here to see if it's a first down. And he did get the first down, so, you know, again, they're going back to their power and back to their running play. We'll see the power eye. We'll see the eye set with a slot back or a wing back, and then we'll see the wishbone. Here we see the 2 double tights with the wishbone again, and pretty much they're telling you, here we come, and let's see if you can stop us.
And the clock has started again. And 32, that's Lofton again. Gets past the 40.
Well, you could really see the flow that time, that when they gave the action to Sandstrom that time, almost took an option path, and everybody was going that way, and it allowed Lofton to find that seam up in the middle. And of course, that's the beauty of having 2 really fine running backs. We'll see here as Sandstrom takes almost an option path outside, and we see Lofton getting the quick handoff and taking the seam right up the middle.
Second down and 3 for Gresham. And it's a keeper up the middle. And let's see if Fellows has it. I believe he was successful. But they'll mark it. Little quarterback sneak that time. And it is a first down. So far in this drive, Gresham being very impressive indeed.
Now there's the power. You know, 14-7 right now with the Gophers leading the Eagles. It's a type of thing where they want to get control of this ball game again. We see the Centennial Eagles trying to get their defense pumped up a little bit, see whether or not they can stop the Gophers here. But here's the power eye now set.
It's a pitch to Sandstrom, who gets down to the 35, across the 30, and he'll be dragged out of bounds.
That time the other running back, Eric Fleury, was out there, and boy, he just put a great downfield block on somebody. But on the interior line, we saw a flag thrown inside, and it looked like it was a clip on Gresham that time.
Got a player down.
And we'll watch the replay here, and watch in the middle of the field here. Right, just on the interior line was where the clip occurred. But a good job by Fleury that time to get out and lead Sandstrom and allowing him to get to the outside. But it looks like it's all going to go for naught here as they call it back with a penalty. But as I talked about earlier, Eric, I think that's the one thing that Gresham's definitely trying to do, and that is to establish the run, make sure that they can go down and gain control of the momentum again. As we see, there's a player down on the field, and they're tending to him right now. Centennial player.
First down and 23.
Well, the player's close enough to the field over there where he's being tended to that they don't want to run a play in the event that the play might go that direction. Here we see the Centennial Rally girls, and you know, Centennial's really got to be pleased, and they got a good turnout here tonight. A lot of people from Gresham came over for the ball game as well, but this is really a great atmosphere. This type of weather, Eric, I'll tell you, this really lets folks come out and really enjoy the evening. And great evening for football, and a great football game, in fact, as well.
Well, this is baseball weather here.
Yes, there we see the injured player down on the field, and what they're going to have to do is, looks like they're tending to him, and they're going to have to check him out and make sure that he's okay before he gets moved, and then they're going to have to move him away from the sideline before the play can continue. And there we see the crowd. You can see it's a pretty good crowd out here tonight. Most of the seats are taken up, and a lot of people milling around as well, so a lot of folks out enjoying high school football tonight.
14-7 our score with an injury timeout. Well, Jim, why don't you tell us where we're going to be next week here?
Well, looks like
getting all ready.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get to that when we come back. Let's take a break right now, and then we'll be back and we'll preview some of the things that are going to go on next week.
Okay, we're back here at Centennial High School. Our score 14-7 still with an injury timeout and the injured player being attended to. Jim, where are we going to be next week?
Well, we're going to be at Mount Hood Community College, where the Barlow Bruins are going to play host to the Sandy Pioneers, and that should be a good ball game. Sandy kind of struggling a little bit this year and having a little trouble putting it all together, although they did get a win the other night, and so consequently we're going to see the Barlow Bruins, the Sandy didn't win the other night, but they did have a good ball game the other night, and hopefully they're going to try to get it back on the right track against the Barlow Bruins, who have been struggling as of late. As we mentioned last week, they lost to Columbia, and they're trying to reestablish themselves. You know, they've been in that league race every year for the last 3 or 4 years and won the championship a couple years, and they just have not played well this year. The Barlow Bruins have not, and really their second halves have hurt them. And the game that they lost against Columbia, again, it was a last-second situation where Columbia was able to score, and so Barlow's really got to put their momentum back together if they're going to, live up to the potential that people thought they might have. They were ranked 5th or 6th in state at the preseason polls, and obviously with the win or with the loss last week to Columbia, they're going to fall down in those polls. But it's really opened up the door for Columbia and David Douglas and some of those teams that feel that they have a good shot at that 3rd or 4th place spot for the playoffs. So I think that so far we've seen that Central Catholic and Gresham probably are the 2 outstanding teams in the league right now, but we're kind of waiting for the door to open to see who's going to be that 3rd and 4th spot. There we see the injured player. A good job by the medical staff there to not let him move, not let him get around until they're sure of what the injury is, and that's Runnels, who that would really hurt the Eagles, because he's their all-purpose player, defensive back, and of course a receiver that's caught a number of passes already this evening. So that's really going to hurt the Eagles.
Well, he got up smiling a little bit. That might have been a ploy just a little bit too. I think he's okay, but maybe they're trying to throw a curve at Gresham, which could quite possibly be.
Well, they're watching him pretty close.
Yeah.
I think that was probably a pretty, it's a scare whenever somebody goes down and they get their bell rung a little bit. And that time we saw Sandstrom get tripped up by Fisher. Here we see the ball come to Sandstrom again. He tries to work his way to the outside, but Fisher does a pretty nice job of fighting off the block and then getting back into it and making the tackle. Nice job by Fisher that time.
2nd down and 20. Gresham with the ball on the Centennial 45-yard line. And there's a pitch, and it's a fumble, and I think Centennial came up with it.
Looks like it was number 74 that got that ball. That was Sean Smith. Sean Smith is one of the leading fumble recoverers in the league. He has 2 already. That's his 3rd one.
Not a bad season.
He's doing real well on the turnovers, but he came up with that with number 74, Sean Smith. Actually, it looked like there was a little bit of confusion on the play. The pitch was made.
Okay, we're going to talk to Ray Byers here. Ray's on the field with an injury report. Go ahead, Ray. Clock just under 8 minutes, and Centennial with the ball. And a little mix-up across midfield, a couple yards there, not much. Now we're going to take a look at Ray Byers on the field. Ray?
The word we have on the sidelines here from the Centennial trainer is that Doug Marlowe is just shaken up on that play, had the wind knocked out of him. He's all right. He'll be able to return later. Back up to you, Eric and Jim.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Ray Byers down on the field. 14-7 our score. Centennial with the ball. 2nd down and 7. And a whistle stops play. Ball on the 48-yard line.
Looks like we had encroachment again.
This time on Gresham.
Centennial's done a good job of maintaining their poise, and Gresham has been called for this now about 4 or 5 times in terms of encroachment, and either Centennial's altering their count or they've got their alignment such that Gresham is lining up offside. So I'm sure that the coaches will correct that fairly quickly. They would like to avoid those ticky-tack type penalties. 5 yards each time really puts Centennial in good position with 2nd and short yardage, allows them to gamble a little bit now.
2nd and short on the 42. And it's a pitch to Diaz, or De La Cruz, I mean. And he gets a couple of yards. And see if it's good enough. It is. A 1st down, looks like. So De La Cruz gets the 1st down. Oh, they're going to spot it 3rd down and 1. Good call, Jim.
Well, Centennial obviously has the momentum now with that turnover, and what they want to do now is just maintain possession, get a good 1st down situation. It looks like Boyce doesn't quite have the set that he wants, or the defensive alignment is such that he decides to call a timeout and use one of their timeouts.
Probably a good move at this point in the game with the ball in good field position.
And you definitely don't want to
3rd down and short. May as well take some time and think about it.
You don't want to make a mistake when you've got 3rd and short like that, and you've got the momentum going your way, and you're ready to move down the field. Fortunately, we see Reynolds now up and walking around a little bit, and still under the attention of the medical staff. They're keeping a pretty close eye on him, but looks like he's moving around a little bit better now.
Okay, we're going to take a break here with our score, 14-7, 6:37 left to go in the 3rd period. We'll be back after this.
Of all the men, of all the heroes, of all the stars, no one stands taller than John Wayne. Superstation TBS salutes John Wayne with 20 of his finest films the week of October 8th.
They measured?
Had an interesting turn of events there, Eric. During that timeout, Centennial requested a measurement, and the officials did give it to them, and they did have a 1st down, and so they measured it, and they had the 1st down. So Centennial now with a 1st down rather than 3rd and short, they have the 1st down. So not a popular decision with the Gresham coaches that are up viewing the play up here that we heard extolling themselves a moment ago, and their disappointment at Centennial continuing their momentum that way. But I think that Centennial now, they've got something going, and I'm sure that Coach Knutson went out there to tell them during that timeout, hang on to the ball, don't make mistakes, and can just continue to do the things that you've been doing.
Centennial on the 41-yard line of Gresham, and Phelps with a run through the left tackle and guard.
Now that was a little bit different type of play. That time Boyce had to make a completely, almost a 360-degree turn in order to make that handoff, and he came out to the right and then came back and gave the ball to Phelps on the left side, which got the defense looking a little bit and allowed Phelps to go up and get about a 6-yard gain.
2nd down and 4. Phelps breaks one tackle and gets down to about the 27-yard line. So now Centennial making some noise on the ground now.
Well, Gresham is just standing around right now, Eric, and a real turn of events here in terms of momentum. Centennial offensive line just really firing off the line of scrimmage, and even though Gresham has them in terms of size and strength, it looks like Centennial, with the momentum and the enthusiasm and emotion right now, is just getting what they want off the offensive line.
Boyce goes back to the huddle with the play, taking the signals from the coaches on the sidelines, wigwagging in the plays. 1st and 10 now. And Phelps up the middle gets about 3 or 4 yards across the 25 and down to about the 23-yard line.
Well, they're just going right at Gresham, which is a little bit surprising right now. You know, you would think that, and of course, the way it was in the first half, Gresham didn't allow that type of penetration up the middle. But we watch here, and we
watch Phelps again up the middle.
We see how Centennial is able to go directly up the middle and blow out an opening for Phelps. Now we're back to live action here.
Back to live action. And Phelps through a hole, and he's going to have a touchdown. All right.
Well, I'll tell you, that was just a gutsy little run by Phelps that time. He did a good job, and just hanging in there, staying in behind the blockers, just pounding away. That was a super, super run by Phelps. Boy, he stuck his nose in there, looked like he was stopped, but the old legs just kept churning, and he found a seam right up the middle. Just a great run and a great job by the offensive line. They're really to be commended. Centennial now looking to go for 2 points. They've got to be careful here. They don't want to get penalized in this situation.
There you see our score, 14-13. And Centennial
has to take their second timeout. Now they only get, we'll see the replay of the touchdown run. Watch Phelps right in the middle, right there. He's stopped. It looks like he's going to go down, but then he just keeps his feet churning and goes right up the middle. Just a great, great job of individual effort by Phelps that time from Centennial.
He was in all kinds of traffic, and he just kept pumping those legs, which is what coaches tell you to do. He broke free and clear for 6 points.
A little bit of confusion on the Centennial sideline. They want to go for 2, and they're what's happening here is they're some of the folks ran off, thought they were going to kick, and there wasn't good communication between the specialty teams that time and the sideline as far as what they want to do. They're going to go for 2, but they've taken their second timeout, and they only get three of them per half, so they've got to be a little bit careful. Hopefully it won't get down where they're going to need that timeout towards the end of the game, but they're going to go for it all right here. They're going to try to take the lead away from Gresham right here with a 2-point conversion.
Okay, we're going to look at a 2-point conversion here, and Boyce goes back to the huddle with the play. And you're the coach here, Jim. What do you do?
Well, you know, they've been successful with a couple of pass plays that they might run type of a goal line pick or something like that, and or even a quick pass to the split receiver. You might look for the wing back. There they came on the pitch.
Dela Cruz, who's in, looks like for the 2 points.
Boy, they had me going there, but they did a good job of running the option that time. Phelps, of course, has been so successful at the middle that the defense really sucked with Phelps. And Phelps went up the middle, the whole defense collapsed. They got the ball to Dela Cruz, and he made a nice move on the outside to get by the one defender that had a chance to stop him, and then he just put his head down and was going to use all 5'5" of that frame and get it across the goal line, and he stretched every inch of it and was able to break the goal line. So, boy, that was a gutsy call by Centennial, just a great effort, and you see Centennial just pumped to beat the band right now. They're really going after it.
Great play calling by the Centennial coaches, and on that play, Phelps with the decoy and a nice little move by Dela Cruz there to get by the defender, and we're going to see it right here. Watch this little move that Dela Cruz puts on the defender.
Good
there's
job inside to Phelps.
Up the middle.
Outside, and there's Dela Cruz, makes a nice cutback, gets by the defensive back out there, and able to cut it up and put his head down and get all the way into the end zone. So 15-14 right now, Centennial with 4:59 left in the third quarter. So without question, they have taken the momentum away from Gresham, and Gresham's going to have to screw their hats on a little bit tighter, make up their minds that they're going to go out there and they're going to try to control this football game, because right now Centennial has taken charge.
All right, Centennial will be kicking off here. Just under 5 minutes to play left in the third quarter.
Boy, this would really put the old conference race in some turmoil, because this would show that Centennial's a team capable of jumping up and maybe even reaching those playoffs as well.
Nielsen and Golden back, and it's Nielsen with the ball, gets across the 20 and is dropped to the 23-yard line. So good special teams defense here by Centennial.
You know who that was? That was Dela Cruz again. He was in there, got in there underneath, nobody saw him, and he snuck up and grabbed the legs and able to put him down. But a good kick that time also by Buffington to drive the receivers backways, and Dela Cruz down on the coverage.
Well, Gresham has seemed to have lost the little spark they had, that little spark they had in the first half. And now they're looking a little flat, so let's see what they can do with their second drive of the second half. And there's a run by number 28. for Gresham. That's Eric Fleury,
Now that's
the
a good,
fullback.
that was a nice call. You know, they're right now, they're going to try to come out and they're trying to pump themselves up a little bit. And happy to report also that that Reynolds is back in the game. Number 80 for Centennial is back in the ball game, so he's okay now.
You see Fleury finding a big hole there. First down and 10. Ball at the 34-yard line. Move up the middle. And that was Fleury again on the carry. So they're going to the fullback now in this set of plays.
Well, they're just trying to come at him with power right now and trying to reestablish the line of scrimmage, because that's really where Centennial took it away from them offensively. And now Gresham's trying to get that momentum back, but
second down and 6, Hamilton, the wide receiver. And that's handed off to Lofton, who gets dropped at the line of scrimmage.
boy, Centennial is just playing really spirited football right now. They've got him in third and about 4 yards to go. So this is a big play right here. This is going to be, you know, when you look back, there's probably 4 or 5 plays throughout a ball game that are fairly significant. And this might just be one of those in terms of being able to maintain their momentum. Centennial can stop them here and force them to kick. Centennial's going to get the ball in their hands again, and they'll keep the momentum. If Gresham can get the first down here, then they can kind of turn the tide a bit.
Well, they've got 3 receivers on the line. And Fellows looking to throw across the middle, intercepted, and again it's Fisher. Brett Fisher with the second interception of the ball game, right at the 45-yard line of Gresham.
Boy, just like we talked about, there's the momentum. That may be the momentum breaker right there. Just a great pass coverage. They had a number of people in position. This probably was just a poor decision because there were 4 guys around that receiver that time, and there really wasn't a path to get the ball in there, but a good job by Fisher to read the ball and then to make the interception. So
Brett Fisher with his second interception of the ball game, and it puts the Centennial team in great field position and a chance to score some more. There's a pitch to Dela Cruz across the 45-yard line, and he gets dropped at about the 44.
Well, we see them starting to play the 2 things on the run. They're starting to play the belly. That time they really came up on Phelps and picked him up, and they're also reading that option pretty well right now. So I would look for him to come back probably with maybe a couple of those quick look-ins or that tight end dump that's so successful for Centennial. They've got to get those linebackers out of the running plays a little bit. Oh, there's the thing that we talked about before.
Whoops.
Centennial has got to be careful not to hurt themselves. And that time they kind of fired off before the ball was snapped, and consequently it's going to be against the offense, so it'll be second down at about 14. And that allows the defense a little bit more latitude in terms of what they can do. They know that Centennial's going to have to go for a little bit more yardage, and they only have 2 downs to do it. And Centennial is not the type of team that can really come at them with big, powerful backs and get 8 or 9 on a running play. So they're probably going to be looking for some type of a pass play.
Boyce again takes a snap from center, and he pitches it, and the ball squirts away. I believe he might have been hit on the arm before he pitched the ball back to Dela Cruz.
Yeah,
and Cecil promptly fell on it.
Marty Wynn that time blitzed in, and as he tried to pitch, as Boyce tried to pitch, Marty Wynn had him pretty well wrapped up, and the pitch was a poor one that went to the ground, and Dela Cruz had to go back and fall on the ball. We'll see the replay here as number 42 that time was Wynn. He was right on top of Boyce, and Boyce really wasn't able to make a very good pitch.
That's a play by Dela Cruz to fall on it. Boyce, and a fake. And boy, Dela Cruz gets out past midfield, and they got all that yardage back, still not good enough for a first down. And Dela Cruz, well, I thought for sure that Boyce was going to throw the ball that time, and they handed it off. Dela Cruz, number 22.
Nice draw play, yeah.
A real nice draw play.
Well, here we see their punt formation. They'll shift into punt formation. Now watch Boyce because he's up close. He's a short man, and if they dump it to him, no, they're going to go ahead and kick. And it was tipped on the play.
Nielsen's going to pick it up about the 8-yard line.
He touched it.
And the ball goes into the end zone, and it's going to be called dead.
But there was no possession. He touched it. And I think that
I think that's a dead ball when he touches it.
Well, no, I think that it's a fumble, but what happened was it went ahead and crossed the goal line. Once it crosses the goal line, it is a touchback, and even what the last team, you know, that would be considered in possession would have been the kicking team, and it was on the kick, and so consequently as it crossed the goal line, it's a touchback, and then the receiving team takes possession. So had they been able to fall on it, I think in the field of play before it crossed the goal line, it would have been Centennial's ball.
That time the ball goes to Lofton. He doesn't get too much. Trying to go up the middle. And once again, the coaches for Gresham getting somewhat spirited. Well, let's see what Centennial can do here now on defense.
They've got to be careful not to kind of...
Can't give up the big play here.
No, the big play is really going to be the key thing now. They've got to be careful not to let Sandstrom break one or one of the other backs. Here we see the option, and there it is right there. That's one thing that they have not done much of tonight. Gresham has not in their running game, and that's come out and run the option with that time. Who was it? It was Fellows or Weil that time came out on the option. Devin Weil is in there at quarterback right now, number 16. And if they run that option, that makes him really tough because he's got great quicks, and with Sandstrom as a pitch man, they've certainly got to respect the pitch man.
First down and 10. We're going to take a break here, and we'll be back as the third period expires. We'll be back with more. Our score 15-14, and Centennial on top over Gresham. Trying to move it around, and a fumble recovered, and it looks like Centennial picked it up.
Yeah, oh boy, great job. They got right in there on the handoff, and they were able to bust it up, and Centennial recovers.
Yeah, well, we're not on yet, but...
Okay, we're going to talk to Ray Byers down at field level. Ray, take it.
I'm with Daryl Dyer, the director of the Centennial Band. Daryl, what kind of plans do you have for the band this year? Where are we going to see him?
We'll be performing at Homecoming October 21st, and we have a contest in Sprague, at Sprague High School in Salem on October 29th, and the University of Oregon Festival of Bands on the 12th of November.
Yeah, you'll be defending your championship at the Festival of Bands this year, won't you? You won it last year?
That's correct. We were sweepstakes last year and hope to do it again this year.
Great. Noticed you had quite a flag team there this year, and the dance team looked real good too. What can you tell me about those?
Well, the color guard has been under development for the past 3 years, and it is really coming along well. The dance team's always been an outstanding group here under the direction of Annie Ellett, and we're always happy to have them join us on the field.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time tonight, Daryl, and good luck this year with your band.
You bet, thanks.
Let's go back to the booth with Eric and Jim.
It's 11:01 left in the fourth period, and Centennial on top 15-14, and also in possession of the football with that last fumble recovery.
Well, we had a penalty. I think it was motion, and so Centennial now first and 15, but still they have good field position and they have possession of the football. That's the big thing.
On the 42-yard line of Gresham, and Boyce hands it off to Lofton, and he gets a few yards, not much more, probably 3 on the play.
That was that same play that they ran a couple times in the first half where Phelps is the up back, and that time he takes a complete pivot around and is able to give it to Phelps then on the left side when he makes the turn opening to the right side. What it does, it freezes the defense for a step and allows Phelps then to find that seam and get up inside. Able to pick up about 3 or 4 yards on the play, so they've still got a chunk of yardage here to pick up.
Boyce again under center, and I believe the offense was offside. Somebody jumped on the line. Looked like either number 42.
Looked like Mike Ware, the left tackle that time, got the cadence wrong and jumped a little bit. And here's the thing that they've got to be real careful of is not to lose their momentum through mistakes. You know, it's one thing if Gresham comes out and does some things. They've shown that they're resilient enough, Centennial is, that they can come back from the things that Gresham does. But when they start making their own mistakes, then you start to lose a little bit of confidence in yourself, and that's the thing that Centennial has to be careful of. They're playing a lot right now on emotion and adrenaline, and they can't afford to make mistakes to put themselves in a hole like this.
Second down and 17 on the 44-yard line for Centennial. So they just seem to be going backwards here just a bit. See if they can recover from a couple of penalties there in the last few sets. And Boyce on the keeper, and the ball is loose, and it smacked another player in the helmet, and Gresham recovered it. I don't know what happened there, but the ball popped out and smacked another player in the helmet, right in the back of the helmet, and the ball was loose, and Gresham recovered on the play.
Well, as he came down the line on his option path, Eric, he was looking out there to make the pitch, and he kind of got the ball out away from his body. And as we watch in the replay here, we'll see him as he switches direction. He brings that ball back across now, and he actually hits the ball.
Whoops.
Or no, it's popped out from behind by one of the defensive linemen. It looks like 74 that time. Got a hand on the ball, and that was Troy Fuller, and popped it loose. And Gresham able to recover. Now, that's the type of thing that Centennial has hurt themselves with in previous ball games.
Not a very good drive at all, and a reverse pass.
Wide open, wide open.
It's number 33. He's going to go all the way for Gresham on that play. That's Dan Radke.
Well, I tell you, that type of action right there, where you bring your split receiver. That time it was Hamilton, all the way across from the backside on a reverse, and then you don't expect a wide receiver like that to pull up and throw the pass. Excellent play call, and to mix it up and to give that type of a play with a reverse action and then a pass off at number 33. That time was down the field. Dan Radke was wide open, and Hamilton did a good job getting the ball. You just don't anticipate having your wide receiver being able to throw the ball that way. So Gresham all of a sudden just snatches it out of Centennial's mouth right now, and it's just, Centennial probably feeling fairly good about themselves. We see it's 20-15, and Gresham now contemplating going for 2 points in this situation because they realize that 1 point, and this should be a great replay. Let's watch this. Here we see the reverse. Wild, Hamilton, and wide open is Radke. Nobody there at all. You could hear everybody up here, the Centennial coaches that are up here spotting, as well as the coaches and players down the field, all yelling reverse. No one anticipated a reverse pass out of that play, and Radke just wandering down the field wide open. Hamilton hits him right in the breadbasket, and it's touchdown.
Those are the kind of plays I like to see. Those are fun.
When they work, they're beautiful, but it takes a lot of practice, a lot of time to work on that. But Gary Stout's made a great call there.
Okay, we're looking for the 2-point conversion here. Let's see what Gresham will do with it. Hands it off to Sandstrom, and who's in easily. Well, you just knew it was going to go to him.
Well, that was a full house backfield set where Sandstrom lined up as a deep back in that situation, and they led up with the one back through the hole, and Sandstrom is not going to be denied in that situation. And so Gresham now has the momentum. 7-point lead right now, and Gresham obviously a little bit more fired up. And there we see the 2-point conversion play where Sandstrom just follows up into the hole, and with his power and ability to run the football, he's not going to be denied on the goal line.
22-15 our score.
Now here's where, the emotional part of football and high school athletics is so important, and we see now Centennial just starting to kind of drop in terms of how high their shoulders are held and how they're pumped up and everything. And here's the real character needs to be built, or is built, and that's if these kids now can come back, put together a drive. They still have a good shot at going down and winning the ball game, but they've got to keep their emotions up, and they've got to play with all the tenacity that they've been playing with this second half so far.
Runnels and Dela Cruz deep for Centennial. 9-11 left to go in the ball game. And the kick is up. And it's going to be on the ground this time. And it's going to get bobbled around. And Dela Cruz ran into his own man in the backfield. Luckily, he hangs on to the football, though, gets out to the 22-yard line, and Centennial will take over there. That could have been a disaster.
Yeah, pretty good coverage down that time and by Gresham. Here we saw a squib kick by Hamilton. He punched the ball down the middle. Did not allow Dela Cruz easy handle on it. He was able to get it, runs into his own man, comes down there, and it looked like Strand, 74, made the first contact. Excuse me, Troy Fuller, 74.
First down and 10 from the 23. Boyce with that pass over the middle. It's tipped up in the air, And an interception by number 88 for Gresham, who's still on his feet, spins around 2 or 3 times, and finally gets buried by number 77 for Centennial on the 30-yard line.
That was Hamilton, the guy that threw the touchdown pass, that did the kickoff. He's having quite a series here. He did a good job of, again, the tip drill, able to read it, make the interception. Looks like he's a little tired right now, but he did a great job of running that ball back and getting about 10 or 15 extra yards that time.
Boyce with that pass, trying to make it to the tight end. Here you see Boyce trying to get it to the tight end again. And of course, Gresham read it real well this time. They knew it was coming, and look, the tip and the reception. Look, spins around once, spins around again. Now we're back to live action.
That was Lofton again.
Lofton on to the 20-yard line. So clock still ticking. And now the Gophers.
Well, you know what, we talked at the outset how important it was that Centennial did not hurt themselves in situations. And unfortunately, that's what we've seen a couple times in a row now, and that is that Centennial has really not been stopped by Gresham themselves. In fact, they've been able to drive on Gresham, but they've done things or made mistakes that have created
Sandstrom across the 15 and down,
where they put themselves in a hole. And now we see Gresham just going back. They've got a little bit of momentum now, and they had the strength and the ability earlier. Now they've got the emotional edge as well, and so it's going to be real tough right now for Centennial to stem the tide here. And as we watch this, it looks like it's going to be a first down. John Sandstrom with power, following that big, tough offensive line, and it is a first down for Gresham down at the 15-yard line. And you see there the Centennial players just kind of standing around, almost shell-shocked at what's gone on here in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Gresham has just really taken hold of this game and completely turned the momentum in their favor.
Let's see what Centennial can do on defense. Lofton down to the 8-yard line to the 7. They'll probably spot it around the 7-yard line. And the clock runs down.
That time, number 75, Dan Caldwell, and 68, John Darby, were leading the way on the right side here. And those guys on the offensive line have just done a heck of a job for Gresham all night long. They've been blowing out holes, and Centennial able to bottle them up a little bit in the third quarter, but they certainly have come back now and shown that they are one of the top teams in the league.
Second down and 3. And it's up the middle. Maybe a yard or 2 on the play, down to about the 6-yard line.
Well, for those people who have watched football for a number of years, this is a throwback to the 40s and the 30s and the old time. If you'll take a look at this, if we have a chance to take a look at this replay, you'll see this is what a full house backfield looks like. That's the old time full house backfield with 3 backs lined up across right behind the quarterback, everybody in tight, and they just get in behind, they wedge it in there, ankle to ankle, the offensive line, and they just blow people out. And Gresham definitely is able to do that right now.
The Gophers with the ball on the 5-yard line. And Centennial trying to stack everybody up there. Again, the Sandstrom across the 5, and he's going to cut back and into the end zone for a touchdown.
Boy, good job there. Again, we had 75 on the outside, and also 75 on the outside was Dan Caldwell, plus a couple of other people that got out there and led the way, and Sandstrom did a great job on his cutback. He was able to go to the left side, found that the opening was out there, and he cut back against the grain and able to take it in. And he's just a tough runner. I'll tell you, around the goal line, he is as tough as any runner we've seen.
Well, Gresham's going to kick it. It's up, and it's dead center. And now the score, 29-15, Gresham on top, and pretty wild turn of events here, Jim.
Well, it's a situation where Gresham just has, hung with it, kept doing the things that they wanted to do. Centennial stopped them some. From time to time, Centennial was able to stop the flow of things, but Gresham never gave up, and I think that's the real true mettle of a great team is the fact that sometimes things don't work out, but you still have confidence in your players and your coaches and everyone else, and you're able to keep it all together enough that when you get the opportunity, you take advantage of it. And that's the thing that Gresham has been able to do, and I know in past telecasts when we saw Centennial against Barlow, that was one thing that Centennial was not able to do, is take advantage of the other team's mistakes, and Barlow was able to in that ball game. Here, Gresham's able to take advantage of Centennial's mistakes. Centennial has not been able to take advantage of the couple mistakes that Gresham made. The interceptions by Fisher have not resulted in any touchdowns, so Centennial just hasn't been able to capitalize yet.
Still a lot of time left, 6 minutes left in the ball game. Reynolds and Delacruz back deep. It'll be fielded short by number 44, who breaks one tackle and gets around, and a saving tackle in the backfield by number 32, Lofton. Jeff Buffington on the run back, and Lofton made a touchdown saving tackle. He could have gone around the end.
Boy, when he broke outside like that, you're right. If Lofton wouldn't have been able to make that ankle tackle, it would have been a long, long touchdown.
There you see Buffington with the reception. He's got some blockers ahead of him, runs into his own man, and gets around. And look at that, just a one-handed tackle by Lofton. Good heads-up football there.
Looked like we had a little bit of fisticuffs here right after the play, so consequently we've got offsetting penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct or unnecessary roughness. So we're going to reload and take it off here. It was a dead ball foul, so the ball will be spotted at the 34-yard line.
First down and 10 from the 33. Looks like. And the clock has started. Centennial needs a quick score here. And it's Boyce looking around. Quick pass to his tight end Reynolds, or to his wide receiver Reynolds. And Reynolds, with one hand on the ball, can't come up with it. So it'll be second down and 10.
He was kind of looking around there a little bit. He's probably still a little bit shell-shocked from the hit that he took earlier, as well as, you know, Gresham comes up and is not afraid to hit somebody when they catch a pass, and the Centennial receivers are starting to remember that a little bit. That ball could have been caught, but it was not a well-thrown ball.
Boyce again waiting, and oh, he gets buried.
Boy, that was a backside. They came in, and it looks like Gresham may have recovered that ball, or are they going to call it an incomplete pass? No, I guess one of the Centennial players recovered it. So, but that ball was definitely fumbled, and yeah, it's marked as a fumble. So Centennial must have recovered it. But boy, you could see from the backside the penetration from the left side of that defensive line came all the way around, and Boyce just took too long to get rid of the ball that time, and he did not see those people coming. He got nailed just as he was getting ready to release it.
Tomorrow will probably feel like he was hit by a freight train. Let's see, now Lance calls timeout. What's going on here? Equipment problem?
Yeah, it looks like we've got an equipment timeout here, and
some confusion on the line.
it looks like he lost his mouth guard, and of course by high school rules you've got to have your mouth guard in, and so if you don't have that in and you play, it's a penalty. So he's making sure that he has it in so there's no penalty, and of course that's an official's timeout for equipment, and so they crank her up, and here we go again.
Third down and 14. This is a big play for Centennial right here. They need to get some big yardage. And Boyce again under center. And he'll look to throw. He has some time to do so, and he hits his man just short of the first down by about 4 yards.
Nice job. That was Buffington from the wingback position, sliding out.
Nice little pass there thrown by Boyce.
What they do is they run their wide receiver to clear out, and then they take either a tight end or the wingback, and then they put him out into the flat area there. And that was a nice job by Boyce to read it, and a nice job by Buffington to catch it. We see him right there as the wide receiver had gone down and in.
Lance showing good poise on that play, so they're going for it. Fourth down and 3. And a little dump, and it's dropped by number 23 for Centennial. That is Brian Duvall, and just off the end of his fingertips. And there's a flag on the play, so let's see who it's against.
Pass interference on the offense. What they ran actually was a pick play, that same thing that I mentioned a little bit before, where they take the outside man, take him down, run him across the middle, and what he did there is he actually ran into the defender to try to knock the defender off of coverage, so the man from the backfield was able to get out into the flat wide open. That's why we saw he was so wide open, although he did drop the ball.
Well, now there's some confusion on the field. Looks like the defensive unit will come out.
I think they declined the penalty, the interference penalty, in order that they might take over possession of the ball, because being an incomplete pass, it'll spot it down where the ball was originally. Except that I think with that particular play, it's a loss of down. So I guess they did take the penalty and then took the loss of down, which turns the ball over to Gresham.
So Gresham with the ball, first down and 10, 4:11 left in the ball game. And whistles everywhere. And the clock has stopped. (29-15) our score. The Gresham Gophers on top. And Centennial just starting to lose that spark they had in the third quarter.
Boy, Gresham called a timeout there, and I'm not sure that that's really what the coaches wanted to do in that situation, because they had a great play plan there, and Centennial was bouncing around and really didn't have their defense set. And they popped one real quick there, even though just as the whistle blew, and so they don't get the yardage gain. They'll have to line it up again with a first down and 10, but they've got control of the ball now. They're on the Centennial 25-yard line. They've got a 29-15 lead with 4:10 to go, and so they pretty much got things in hand. The main thing that they want to do now is just keep a hold of the football. Even if they were to lose it on downs, at least they're going to eat up enough of the clock that'll make it real difficult for Centennial to be able to put a couple scores on the board.
Well, the ball sitting on the 25-yard line. It is first down and 10 for Gresham.
Good example tonight, Eric, of what can happen when, you know, it's kind of self-destruct, or you make your mistakes yourself rather than having the other team come out and just take you out of the game. And what happened was Centennial basically took themselves out. Fisher made a couple nice interceptions. They had a nice fumble recovery. Smith made a good fumble recovery. They've had some turnovers, but only in one case were they able to capitalize on any kind of a turnover and get down and get some points out of it. Whereas each time the Centennial has turned the ball over, Gresham has made a really good march down the field and in most cases been able to score.
Fellows again hands it off. This time, let's see who got buried that time in the palm.
Well, they're just sticking with basic stuff right now. They do not want to in any way, shape, or form get down there and pitch the ball around or try anything fancy. What they're going to try to do now is just the straight power stuff and going right up the middle. And here we see a good athlete in Fellows going right up the middle, just banging his way and getting about 8 yards on the play.
And this time it's to Sandstrom, who goes down past the 10 to the 5 and just short of the end zone, down to about the 3-yard line. And Lofton, I don't know if you caught that play, Jim, but Lofton launched himself up in the air over the center and kind of flipped over on his neck and fell down. And it was a great decoy, and Sandstrom just went around the end.
Yeah, I think we had a penalty on the play on the outside, probably an illegal block, either a clip or a hold, and we'll see it on the outside here.
We're going to see a replay on this. Watch number 32. Oh, you missed it on the replay, but he launched himself and kind of did a backflip.
Looked like there might have been a clip on the outside there. We'll get a holding. Illegal use of the hands that time on Gresham. That was too bad because Sandstrom really made a nice run, and as you said, Lofton made a great fake into the middle to suck everybody in, and then Sandstrom weaved his way around the outside and did a good job. He's really, you know, he's a different type of running back from Matt Jones at Central Catholic, but he's certainly every bit as effective as Matt Jones is in this Gresham offense.
And this time it's the Radke who breaks the tackle and gets nailed to about the 20-yard line, 21-yard line.
Well, I tell you, that was a great, great pitch by Fellows that time. They were right in on top of him, and he kept his poise, knew he was going to get hit, and still got the ball outside to Radke, and Radke able to push it downfield. And again, he's got some offensive linemen out there in front. John Darby, 68, we'll have a chance in the replay to see Darby out there leading the way, knocking people down, and still getting in an extra hit at the end there, too.
Third down and 4. We're at the 2:35 mark in the ball game. And not much there up the middle. And Number 25 on the carry.
That was Eric Nielsen
Eric
up
Nielsen
the middle.
this time. So Gresham starting to use all their offensive weapons, and right now doing it effectively.
I'm sure they'll go for it. They're in a 4-down area here. There's no reason to try to kick anything. You know, they got a 14-point lead, and right now, the main thing with 2:08 to go is just the possession of the football, and that's one thing that they want to maintain. Even if they were to turn it over here on downs to Centennial, the fact that they've eaten up so much of the clock, plus the fact that they're so deep in Centennial territory, would really be a disadvantage for Centennial.
James Golden in at halfback now for Gresham, number 21. And now flags on the play, and it's against Gresham again.
That's a 5-yard penalty. Now that's going to make them choose a little bit different type of play. That time they were in looked like a wishbone set with 2 tight ends, and they were going to come power right at Centennial that time, but it looks like they're going to have to probably make a little bit different type of play selection, because now they got 4th and 5. So we'll probably anticipate something else, something a little different, although they come out now in a power I set. No, they're in the wishbone set still.
4th down and 6 for Gresham. And there's a pitch to number 25, who spins around, gets down past the 10-yard line, down to about the 7-yard line. That's Eric Nielsen again.
Well, I tell you, 63, Brandon Guthrie got out there and just did a heck of a job pulling that time from his guard position, and got outside and led that play, and just did a super job of picking up a couple people and blocking them out of the way so that he could go down and make the 1st down. Great job by Guthrie.
Nielsen with a nice little run that time. And let's see what happens here. 1st down and 8. And this is Golden, looks like number 21, past the 5-yard line, down to about the 3.
Oh boy, that was a poor officiating move right there. The official blew his whistle, anticipating that the runner was going to go down. And so what they call is an inadvertent whistle in that situation. So the ball is down. That is really too bad, because that's not a good officiating play right there.
Golden in the ball game. There you see him.
Right here, they blew the whistle right there. They anticipated that he was going to go down, and he almost had a chance to score, and the official just kind of choked on his whistle there.
Golden, 5'9", 170-pound junior for the Gophers. His first carry of the ball game. It's the 2nd play we've seen him on now. And he's going to stay in. And now some more confusion on the line.
Well, what they're doing, they're trying to explain what happened to Coach Gary Stouts over there, realizing an inadvertent whistle is not something that you can really explain. It's just that somebody messed up, and that's what happened that time with the official. He blew the whistle. He anticipated the guy was going down, and big break for Centennial, because it would have been right down on about the 1-foot line where he was knocked out of bounds, but instead they have 2nd down and about 9 yards to go.
Well, it's spotted 2nd down and 8 as the clock ticks down. 29-15-yard score, and it's a handoff to Nielsen, who gets down to about the 2-yard line and gets knocked down. Let's see where they spot it.
You're right, it's on the 2-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd down and 2. And Gresham just coming right at him with the power. They've got some of their other backs in there. You know, and this is a real tribute to Gary Stouts, too. He could very easily have Sandstrom and some of his big horses in there, but he's done a good job of rotating people in there and giving a lot of folks an opportunity. Here we see Nielsen going down there and just sticking his head in there, and they've got a stable of backs there that aren't afraid to put their nose into it. Hey, I tell you, there's some real class right here by Gary Stouts. I mean, I want to really commend Gary Stouts for this particular play. He sees that he can go down and score if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to run up the score or rub anything into anybody. What he's doing right here is a real classy move. He's just running the clock out so that they don't put any more points on the board and make it look any worse for Centennial, because he knows Centennial's played a heck of a ball game and doesn't deserve to be run into the ground. So that was a real classy move by Coach Gary Stouts from Gresham High School, and he's to be commended, because that's what high school athletics is all about. And a big pat on the back to Gary Stouts and his staff.
Well, their score is 29-15. The Gresham Gophers over the Centennial Eagles. And that's the end of the ball game. We're going to be back with more right after this.
If you thought this was your only source for in-depth quality reporting, think again. Now there's World Monitor with anchor John Hart and 22 bureaus around the globe. Watch and you'll understand how and why the world reacts to the issues and events that shape our lives. Because World Monitor covers the most important story of all, people. World Monitor, bringing a global perspective home. Premiering on the Discovery Channel September 12th at 7 p.m.
Down on the field here, the Gresham Gophers just pulling out a victory 29-15 over the Centennial Eagles. Eric Gessner along with Jim Sheely and Ray Byers. Ray, your thoughts on tonight's ball game?
Well, Centennial definitely gave the Gophers a run for their money. The beginning of that third quarter took the lead, and Gresham had some work to do to make sure that they won this game tonight. Good ball game. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, excellent ball game. I had a good time watching it. Centennial, I thought, showed a lot of character for a lot of moments in this ball game tonight, but they came up short.
Yeah, I think that, again, you know, the experience and the poise that Gresham has from tradition, the type of players they have, the number of people they have, they were just able to really outman Centennial over the long haul. But Centennial's really be commended because of the enthusiasm that they came at Gresham with. They did some things that Gresham was not really anticipating. They didn't think that Centennial could run up the middle. And of course, Phelps was able to bust a couple loose up the middle, and I think that really started the Gresham people to second guess themselves a bit. And then Centennial got their confidence. They were able to go down when they put the two-point conversion in at 15-14. We're in a situation now where it's pretty tight, and Gresham's going to have to screw their lids on pretty tight and go after it. And they did. You know, but I think the thing that we go back to, Eric, is the thing that we talked about earlier, and that is taking advantage of mistakes. And Centennial's was not able to do that. They haven't been able to do that throughout the season, and I think that's what's hurt them the most. They're able to create turnovers. They're able to do the things they have to do to get possession of the ball, but then they aren't able to go down and capitalize on those things. In Gresham's situation, they picked up a couple of turnovers, and boy, they went right down, and they knew exactly what they had to do, and they have the poise to go down to do it, and they did it. So I think that that's the type of thing that is a difference between your first-class ball clubs, that is your teams that are in the upper division, and those teams that are not in the upper division. And obviously Gresham is a team that is going on. They're undefeated so far this season. And I want to make one other point, and that's Gary Stouts. I think Gary Stouts is again to be patted on the back for the poise and the class that he showed with the Gresham program. It shows you a guy that really knows what's going on and can feel for the other coach. And what he did tonight when they had an opportunity to go ahead and put another touchdown on the board right at the end, even though it's hard to tell your kids don't go full speed or don't go ahead and score and go for the gusto every time, he did a really classy thing when he had his quarterback just drop down and go ahead and run the clock out rather than going ahead and scoring from the 2-yard line. And that shows you why Gresham is always at the top of the league, why they're so well respected, and why their kids have the poise that they do, because they've got tremendous leadership from their coaching staff led by Gary Stouts.
Well, that'll do it right here from the field, and we'll be looking for you next week on our Mountain Hood Conference Game of the Week.